What is going on, everybody? Hyper the Husky here. So today I'm going to be reading you guys Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Getaway. If you guys don't know what that is, we're going to be reading that today. Hopefully get through a chapter or two. Let's get into it. The worst part of having someone tell you about their vacation is trying to pretend you're happy for them. Because no one wants to hear all about all the fun they didn't have. The only vacations I want to hear about are where things went wrong. That way, I don't feel bad for them. Bad for missing out. It says, I can't read. Well, no, I'm joking, guys. Don't. God. Well, my family just got back from vacation, and believe me, if I could have stayed home, I would have. But I didn't have a choice. A few weeks ago, this vacation wasn't even supposed to happen. We were just having fun. We were just having a normal December. I was really looking forward to Christmas, but Mom and Dad were getting all stressed out about everything they had to get ready for the holidays. We were way behind on decorating the house, and nothing was going the way it was supposed to. That sounds about right. Holidays sound about right. Yeah, that sounds about correct. I'm sure we could have gotten our act together in time for Christmas, but one night an ad came on TV and totally turned our holiday upside down. The commercial wasn't for this place called the Chronicles. I'm not even going to read that. Y'all can read that if you have the book. Which is where Mom and Dad went for their honeymoon. And the reason I know that is because every time an ad for that place comes on TV, the two of them get kissy face. All kissy face? Yeah, alright. It makes me uncomfortable thinking about Mom and Dad before they had us kids. I wouldn't have two if Mom didn't break out their honeymoon album every year on their anniversary. The night after the ad came on, Mom and Dad made an announcement. They said, this year we're going to skip Christmas and all go to this island instead. I don't know what the island name is. You can make fun of me for that. I don't give a shit. When I asked were we getting our gifts to the resort, Mom said the trip was our gifts. The trip was our gift. That made me sound like an asshole. I thought that sounded like a terrible idea. I was surprised Dad was on board with it. He usually doesn't like to spend a lot of money, and I was sure this resort was going to cost a fucking fortune. And I was sure, but he said he was sick of the cold weather and wanted to escape to someplace warm. Personally, I don't have a problem with the cold weather. In fact, generally speaking, the worst of it, it's outside. I'm happier. The happier I am. I figure Manny and Roderick would help me talk some sense into them. Sense into Mom and Dad. We put a stop to the idea, but those guys weren't any help at all. So I had to accept that we weren't gonna have a normal Christmas at home. But what I really didn't like was that we had to fly to this place. I'd never been on a plane before, and I wasn't crazy about the idea for looking myself in a metal tube. Yeah, that's what they call them, metal tubes. Nobody else seemed worried, though. And 2 weeks later, on the night when we should have been hanging up our stockings and sitting around the fire watching Christmas specials, we were packing our suitcases for the island getaway. Yeah, by the way, this video is going to be very long, so buckle up your seatbelts if you know it's good for you. I'm kidding. We left the house around 8 a.m., 8 p.m.? It looks like 8 a.m. If it's not 8 a.m., then you're fucking nuts. In the morning. Okay, in the morning. I'm an idiot. Christmas Eve. Dad was pretty upset because he wanted to leave an hour earlier, but Mom said she was being ridiculous, that he was being ridiculous, and we'd get to the airport in plenty of time. It was only about 20 degrees outside, but Roderick was already dressed for vacation. You son of a bitch. Okay. Like I said, I haven't read this book, so I know nothing in this book. Turned out Dad was right. We should have left an hour earlier. We should have left earlier. Apparently, Christmas Eve is one of the busiest travel days of the year, so the roads were choked with families driving to see their relatives, and nobody really seemed to be in the Christmas spirit either. What made things a lot worse was when it started to snow after that. Things slowed to a crawl. Mom and Dad started arguing over what time we should have left. Dad almost missed the exit for the airport, and we had to cut across 3 lanes of traffic, which didn't look easy. Don't do that when you're in bad weather, especially when it's snowing as shit. Don't cross into 3 lanes, because some jackass who can't stop might slam into your face. Yeah, okay. Oh, God, this looks worse. We reached the airport. The main parking lot was full. That meant we had to park in the economy lot. What? Yeah, the economy lot. Which is pretty far away. Dad said he'd drop off the rest of us at the curb with all the luggage, then come meet us after he parked. When we got there, passenger drop-off area, it was completely chaos. It was complete chaos. We tried to unload our bags, but the cops weren't letting anyone stop for more than 30 seconds, and then that just stressed everyone out. Made things more worse. I had to get back to the van so I could help Dad with the rest of the bags. Ordinarily, that kind of thing would have been Roderick's job, but since he was dressed for 18-degree weather, for 80-degree weather, he got out of it. He was lucky he did too. Can't read that. There's something in the way. God dang it. When we got out of the gate for the economy lot, Dad couldn't reach the ticket from his window, so he had me get out of the car and grab it. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Unfortunately, I didn't notice that there was a giant slush puddle at the side of my car door until it was too late. Oh, God, I've had that shit happen before. That's cold as hell. No. The sign said the shuttle bus to the main terminal came every 10 minutes, but there was no room for us in the bus shelter. So we had to wait outside in the freezing fucking tundra of hell. 20 minutes went by without the bus, and Dad started getting really anxious about the time, and he said we were just going to have to walk to the terminal, which was about a mile away. I'm sorry, if I'm cold outside, I'm not walking my stupid ass all the way a mile away just for a stupid terminal. No, thank you. I would have tried to convince Dad to wait a little longer, but my socks were starting to turn into ice, and I didn't want to get any frostbite. I mean, yeah, you don't want frostbite in that shit. Sure enough, once we got about 100 feet from the shelter, the shuttle bus pulled into the parking lot. We tried the driver to stop, but he just blew right by us. So we ran to the shuttle stop, but we didn't make it back in time. Now Dad was really worried about us missing our flight. I told him maybe missing the flight wouldn't be the worst thing to happen, but he didn't seem to be in the mood to hear what I had to say. This asshole wants to go back home and sit by a campfire with his stockings. No. By the time we got to the terminal, we were both soaking wet. Soaking fucking wet, I'll put that in there. And miserable. So when we picked up when a pickup truck almost hit us in the crossway, wow, it made Dad really mad, and he let the driver know. Oh, God! That just made the driver mad. He pulled his truck over, stepped out of the vehicle. Someone's mad outside the highway. We didn't stick around long enough to talk things over with the guy. We ran in the opposite direction. Opposite direction and blended in with some people standing on the sidewalk until the coast was clear. Dad told me I could have learned a lesson from this, which was never to lose your temper and do something stupid, but I took a way different lesson. When Heffley gets in trouble, Heffley runs. Yeah, all right, that sounds about right. The rest of the family was waiting inside the entrance of the terminal. Mom was waiting, wanting to know what took us so long. Dad wanted to know why she hadn't gotten in line with Manny, and Roderick held the place for us. So I'm pretty sure they wanted to dump you. It took us 20 minutes for us to get through the check-in line, but when Dad put our big suitcase on the scale, the person at the counter said it was too heavy. It was gonna cost extra money. Oh my God, it was gonna cost extra money to check it. That's why you carry light. You travel light. Take what you need with you. Just to let everybody know. But Dad said the airliner was whipping us off, and we weren't going to give them the extra nickel. So we took some clothes out of the suitcase and stuffed them into our carrying bags. By the time we got everything sorted out, we had a half an hour. Why does everyone keep fucking honking their horn? A half an hour before our flight started boarding, and we got to the security area. It was a total fucking zoo! There were two lines, one for families and one for the business travelers. I guess Dad usually gets to go through the business line when he travels for work. So he didn't seem to be happy about being stuck with the rest of these asshole families. I'm going to read probably two more pages. Anytime you add the word family to something, you know things are going to get shitty. And trust me, I've been to enough family restaurants to know what I'm talking about. We wanted the security line to go long. We waited in the security line for a long time. And we finally made it to the front. But then some kid a few rows behind us started pressing the buttons on the poles that hold the barricades together. That motherfucker. I would have punched the kid in the face. No, I really wouldn't. I would just tell him, don't do that again. All of a sudden, there was nothing keeping all the lines separated. For a second, no one moved, but then things completely fell apart and went fucking crazy. By the time security agents got all the zip barriers reconnected, we ended up at the back of the line with the family with the kid who caused all the trouble, who was in the front of the line. That's how you know things are fucked up. Real fucked up. Like, really bad. Now Mom and Dad were really stressed because our flight was supposed to leave at any minute. Dad begged one of the security agents to let us go in front, but he didn't seem to sympathetic. I thought we were going to miss our flight, so I didn't really see the point in going through the security. But Dad, sometimes they leave the gate open until the last second. We might still make it. We finally got to the front of the line, and we put our bags on the conveyor belt. Then we took our coats and shoes and put them on in some plastic bin. Manny saw the rest of us what we were doing, and he started taking off his clothes. Oh, God. Luckily, Mom noticed in time and stopped him before he could go any further. You need to control your kid. Manny wasn't finished causing problems, though. Apparently, he thought the conveyor belt was some kind of ride. And he was really upset when he found out that it wasn't. Wow. The people behind us were getting frustrated. We weren't moving. But we were being held up by the guy in front of us. He had to remove everything. He had metal. It was taking him forever. Yeah, because he's got metal earrings, nose rings. Yeah, okay. Roderick told me these machines see through your clothes. Then someone checks the screen to make sure you're not trying to sneak by with anything dangerous. Yeah, that is. It turns out the x-ray machine that sees through the clothes is only for grown-ups, and kids can go through the metal detector instead. Still, I wasn't going to take any chances. Oh, shit. Alright, this is the last of it, guys. Once we got through the security, we grabbed our stuff from the conveyor belt, took off. Our gate was down on the lower level, so we had to take the escalator. Oh, God, the escalators. We couldn't even do that without causing a major problem. Manny's stuffed animal got stuck in the fucking bottom of the escalator, and he had to press the button, emergency button, so Mom could pull it free. Dad checked his watch and said we might still make it if we run for the gate. But the gate was all the way on the other side of the end of the terminal. We knew we couldn't make it in time on foot. Just then, a cart for handicapped passengers came along. Dad stopped it and asked the driver if we could hitch a ride. For the rest of us got on board before she could even say no. After that, it was smooth sailing. The terminal was pretty crowded, but people moved out of the way for our way when they heard us coming. I would just ran them all over. Fuck that. The driver dropped us off at our gate, but the gate was closed. I thought that meant we just missed our flight. We could have turned around and enjoyed a nice Christmas Eve at home, but turned out our flight was fucking delayed. So all that stress was for nothing. The reason the flight was delayed was because the bad weather. It was going to be another hour before we got on the plane. We looked for a place to sit down in the boarding area, but people were hogging the seats like hoes. Mom told me that once we got on the plane, we'd be in the air for 6 hours, which was news to me. I asked her for some money, and I bought a couple of magazines, some snacks, and the headphones at the shop near the gate. You guys ready for the last sentence before I end this video? Okay, good. The only thing I needed that store didn't have were socks. My right sock was still wet from stepping in that puddle. So I went into the bathroom to wring it out in the sink. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want more of that, more of me reading this shit, more of me reading this book, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. But until then, good night, guys.